Okay, so till now we have discussed about how to do finite difference expression, how to get finite difference expressions. Now, whenever these expressions are, you know, there, uh, they have to satisfy certain properties. Okay, so today we'll discuss about properties of these expressions. First property of these finite differences is called as consistency. So what do you mean by consistency is that if the delta x, delta y, delta z or delta t approaches to 0, the difference expression or you can say computational or numerical expression, any expression should approach or should approximate the partial differential equation. Then the difference expression is called as consistent. Say for example, if we have this PD del U del T plus, excuse me, suppose this is a PD. Now, according to our this so finite difference expression for this will be del U by del T at I, or like that. Now, since there are two variables t and x, I and n will choose del 2u, del x2, that also with I and n. Okay. So if this is a 1D problem, this is a x and there should be a time n represented by n. Okay. And this expression, so this is a time t, and we'll say that n and n plus 1th time. This is a next time. N is a current time, next time, like that. And these are your I minus 1 and I plus 1. If you move in a time domain, same things will move. So I will be here, next i's will be here, next i's will be in another n plus 1, that is n plus 2, like that. Okay, so it has to move in time. Okay, now this discretization, if you consider a delta t, if you consider a delta x in space and delta t in time, then this discretization we can do for n plus 1. We have known value of n. To calculate n plus 1, we have a known value of n. So we can do it by forward difference. Okay. So like u n plus 1 I minus ui n divided by delta t. This is a finite difference expression. And then this one is equals to, so this is a second order PD, and for second order PD we can use central difference. So I'm using forward in time and central difference in space, CS, FTCS. Forward in time, this is a forward in time, and central in space. Central in space means I will take u I plus 1, this value at nth level. I can take n plus 1 also. Okay. So let me write it as m or n, any. We will discuss later. Twice ui plus ui minus 1, let's say m divided by delta x square. Okay. This is a finite difference expression. Now, if I write this expression like this should be equals to 0, isn't it? But it will not be, because we have seen that when you discretize, we get some order of terms here. Okay, this order of terms here. So this order of term will be, now it is a delta t, is time is also there and space is there. Time equation is separate. Space terms are I only. So Taylor series around I for n plus n and n plus 1 will give you order delta t. Also, this one only will give you order some delta x square. We know that second order expression, central difference scheme gives you delta x square. So order delta t and delta x square terms will be there, and these will be, this should be infinite, and then that this term should be equals to this PD, isn't it? This del u del t minus, now I'm taking this left side, minus del 2 u del x2 should be equals to this expression. Okay, this left hand side, this is a PD, and this is a finite difference expression. So if we say that if this delta t tends to 0 and delta x tends to 0, this error, truncation error, then truncation error goes to 0, and in the limit delta t tends to 0 and delta x tends to 0, difference between the PDE and the FDE goes to 0, should go to 0. Delta t cannot be 0, delta x cannot be 0, but it can be made very, very small, very small, close to 0, such a way that PD and FD difference should be 0. Means this FD should represent PDE exactly. This also means that in the limit delta t tends to 0 and delta x tends to 0, truncation error also goes to 0. Then this scheme is consistent. Okay. So since we see that in this expression, it is expected that if you reduce this delta t and delta x, so in the above scheme, and what is that above scheme is? That above scheme is forward in time and central in space. Delta t and delta x tends to 0 simultaneously. So this PD minus FD representation can be equals to this 0. Okay. So tends to 0 simultaneously. Therefore, 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 the FTCS scheme is consistent. Now, what scheme can be inconsistent? Okay. So let us take another example, example number 2. So let us take this problem, del u by del t. This is a PDE plus constant C del u del x. This is a hyperbolic equation. And if this expression is now discretized this way, which is called as Lax method. Now we use Lax method to discretize this expression. So this expression del u del t plus C del u del x is discretized as u and I. U is taken at I and n plus 1. So you should recognize like this. This is I minus 1, I plus 1, and this should be your nth level, n plus 1th level values, and this nth level values. So you I n plus 1, so this value minus, now here is a trick. What he is doing is, he is taking u at I plus 1 plus u at I minus 1 and these values, these values. Okay. And dividing them by 2, and whole this division is by delta t.
So,
Yeah.
so that ui plus 1 plus ui minus 1, that is at nth level.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Nth level. Okay. So that is the specific to lax method. So what lax method is doing? First term is taking from n plus 1th and nth level term, but rather than taking ith level term, he is taking average of these two. I plus 1, I minus 1, average of these two will be I value. That is what his understanding is. This is nothing but UIN, isn't it? This should be UIN. That is what he said. But while taking this particular scheme, although it is UIN, it represents, this average represents the UIN value. This particular expression has a problem. So that is what we wanted to say. So this then plus now say this central difference is used here. So I plus 1 minus u I minus 1, and all these are at n level, but I'll say m twice delta x. And now here, since this is a discrete expression, from Taylor series, we know that these terms will have some order of accuracy. So first term, this is a second order expression. So we are likely to get delta x square accuracy, isn't it? This is a central difference. So we will get delta x square. Now what about this? Now here, if you see, these are at n plus 1 and nth level. So the difference is delta t. So that, and this is a first order, kind of discretization. So here we would like to get delta t time, the accuracy in delta t. Okay, this is like forward difference. However, now this term, if you see, instead of uin, it is writing ui plus 1 and I minus 1. So in the Taylor series, the discretization is not around n. Okay, for this particular term, for uin plus 1, it is fine. I mean, it is at ith only. But these terms are discretized at this along with nth time. Okay, so the space delta x is coming into picture. Here delta x is coming into picture because of I plus 1 and I minus 1. So this delta x and delta t, now these are Taylor series of two variables, delta t and delta x. So if you do Taylor series of two variables, that we'll see later in while taking a problems, you will get a combined accuracy also along with delta t. You will get delta x square divided by delta t. Okay. Now here is a problem. Now, if you make this delta x tends to 0, this delta x square you can make 0. Delta t you can make 0. Now, this is a problem. This delta x square by delta t terms will be there. These are nothing but terms, okay, leading error terms. But this leading error term, delta x square, delta t tends to 0. These two things cannot be simultaneously made 0. Why? Because 0 by 0 will become infinity. You cannot make this simultaneously 0. Either you have to make delta x 0 and then delta t 0. Means first you will have to take delta t, certain delta t 1, and then change this delta x from 0.1 to 0.01 to 0.02, like that. 0.001, like that. You have to decrease. You cannot make both the things simultaneously 0. Okay. So if you cannot do like that, and in such cases, so here delta x square delta t cannot be simultaneously cannot be simultaneously made 0. Therefore, the in the limit delta t comma delta x tends to 0, PDE minus FDE will not be equals to 0, isn't it? Will not be equals to 0 because this error will be there. You cannot make this 0. Either you have to reduce this or this. So simultaneously you cannot play. So you will have to bear with the error. So this also means that truncation error is not equals to 0. Delta t delta x tends to 0. Truncation error is not equals to 0. It can be reduced, but it cannot be made 0. So the lax method, the lax method, capital L, lax method is inconsistent. This lax is a very well-known figure in numerical methods. Mathematician, he is a mathematician. His name is Peter Lax. His name will appear again. Okay, so this scheme is inconsistent. Now, this is about inconsistency. Okay, so inconsistency talks about whether am I going to represent my finite difference expression equals to PDE or not. If it is not, then it is inconsistent. Okay. So by changing any delta t or delta x, you cannot get accuracy, you cannot reduce the errors, truncation errors, then you are inconsistent. Second is transportiveness property. Okay. So this property, transportiveness, what does it mean? By name itself, if you look at this transport, okay. So if the finite difference expression is such that any perturbations, any perturbation in the variable, in the solution variable occurs, it will or it should it should flow or it should, you know, transport in the direction of flow. Okay, what is meant as suppose there is a flow, suppose there is a flow, okay, and any suppose this is a variable here in this flow, this is a u velocity. Now suppose there is a small change in u velocity, that small change in velocity should move in this direction only. When suppose this is a u1, then if this is a growing, then u2 should be higher than u1. I mean, it should move in this direction only. This perturbation should not, if any change in this u is there, it should not change the um, in the reverse direction. The change in u1 should not make the change in the reverse direction, because this is the direction of the flow. This is the direction of the flow. If this is your x coordinate, this is your y coordinate, u is a flow direction, then any change in u, any fluctuations or any perturbation in u, it should move in the flow direction. Suppose the flow direction is reverse, then this should be u2, and here should not be any fluctuations. Okay, so any fluctuation happens, it should grow here or it should affect this one only. So that is a transportive property. Okay, so we'll see if the schemes are devised like that or not. If they are devised like this, then they are having a transportive property. Okay, so I'll give you one example. Let us look at an hyperbolic equation. Okay, del u del t. I am taking a positive, del u del x is equals to 0. Now you know that this is a hyperbolic equation, number one. Okay, so meaning of hyperbolic is you have a one characteristics. Okay, and you have this a greater than 0. So this means that a greater than 0 means you have a right running characteristics. That characteristics is a right running characteristics. Right running characteristics. Okay. So with this information, we'll proceed. So this is a 1D problem. So let me write this as x-axis, and I will now write by time axis and time values. Okay. So these are all my time values. So this is t is equals to 0. This is t is equals to 1. T is equals to 2. And t is equals to 3, and like that. Now I have a right running characteristic here. Okay. Like this. This is a right running characteristics. Right running characteristics. and it has a slope which is given by this a. This is a slope, and it is passing. It is passing. Suppose I consider t n plus 1, and this is my ith point. Then it is passing through this ith point corresponding to this. Our ith point is here, and this one will be then I minus 1, and here will be your I plus 1 point. This is your I plus 1 point. This is your ith point here, I plus 1. This is your I plus 1 point. This is your I minus 1 point. That is a node I minus 1, and this one is your I plus 2. This one is your I plus 1. This one is your I and I minus 1. So what are you seeing? What do you see here is that this characteristics moves from one grid location to another grid location, next grid location in the next time. Okay. So characteristic is passing through that. Okay. What also this also means that if any solution is here, if any solution is here, so let that solution is say uh, uh, this type of solution. Suppose this is the initial solution throughout this domain. Now this solution will keep on copying itself at other time. This is same, okay, same solution will repeat. Okay, solution moves, this solution moves along the characteristics. In time. Okay, so the domain of dependence and domain of influence, if you see, the domain of dependence of this ith point is this line itself. Okay, so one thing you can see is domain of dependence and domain of dependence, domain of dependence and influence is a line only. Okay, is a characteristic line. Along this only it is affecting. Ith point is get affected by I minus 1. I plus 1 point is get affected by its I plus 1 minus 1. Here is I plus 2 minus I plus 2 minus 1, I plus 1. So this value is affecting this value like that. Okay, and ith value is affecting I plus 1. That is also a meaning. So domain of dependence and it's like this. So in this case, suppose I have to write a discrete form of this. I can write a discrete form of this is as like this. I can write u at I minus u at I. While writing this, I can write n plus 1 and n. Okay, n plus 1 and n. Because I want to find out n plus 1 value, n plus 1 value and n. N plus 1 can be anywhere. Okay, n plus 1 is a new value, new time value, and n is a old time value. I can represent like this, and plus I can also represent like this by using this expression ui plus 1 minus ui, and let me write this m divided by delta x is equals to 0. I can also write these things with the same discretization for time plus a u I minus ui minus 1 m divided by delta x equals to 0, or also I can write ui n plus 1 minus ui n delta t plus a ui plus 1 minus ui minus 1 m delta x twice delta x is equals to 0, isn't it? So first one is a forward difference, backward difference, and then third one is a, you know, central difference. So which one is correct? Now, according to this, if the transportiveness property has to be satisfied, then according to the transportiveness property, this expression is correct. However, this expression and this expression do not possess the transportiveness property. Okay, this equation possesses transportiveness property. Okay, how? So you see this delta x term. So if I'm looking at this term, my influence is coming from I minus 1. My influence is coming from I minus 1. But in this expression, if you see, I am calculating uim, suppose uin plus 1. In that case, my information is coming from this, and this is not correct here, because your this characteristic is a right running characteristics, and your influence domain is not on these characteristics, so it is inconsistent. Okay, so this particular, because of this ui plus 1, it becomes consistent. Now if you take ui plus 1 and I minus 1, now to get this value, I am taking this value and I plus 1 value, this value and I plus 1 value, where both this ui plus 1 and ui minus 1, they are not lying on the characteristics. Okay, so that is the reason these two expressions are wrong. Now suppose this a is less than 0, then rather than right running characteristics, it will be a left running characteristics. This characteristic, this will be the characteristic. It will be this type of characteristics going from, right to left. In that case, then this expression, forward difference expression, will be a proper choice rather than backward difference. Central difference doesn't have a transportiveness property here for this expression, for this particular kind of PD. You see here, because it is not picking the values of the variable. They are not transporting, they are not showing the transporting property in the direction of flow. The flow direction is this, but in time it is moving only in the in this characteristic direction, along the characteristics. Okay, so this is an example of transportiveness. Also in other way, I'll also say we have defined it in terms of perturbation. So suppose say there is a perturbation at I, and this is say your I plus 1 and this is your I minus 1. So we'll consider some perturbation. So let there is a perturbation of this type. And this perturbation, we are saying that, say it is a delta perturbation. Now, if any perturbation here is there, it should, and the moving direction is from I minus 1 to I plus 1. So suppose we consider this equation, del u, this expression, this central difference, for example. Suppose you consider central difference. So let us consider central difference ui n plus 1 minus ui n divided by delta t plus a ui plus 1 m minus ui minus 1 m divided by twice delta x is equals to 0, or you can write this as in terms of equals to, and you can say this equals to negative of this. Okay. Now we have perturbation here. Okay. So let me write this as m, this as m plus 1 and m minus 1. Okay, to represent not this m. Okay, this m is different. Let me write it then q or p minus 1 or p plus 1. Now if we use the p minus 1 term, suppose if you use p minus p plus 1 term, for example, then in that case, so consider perturbation at um, consider perturbation delta in u. Okay. So since this delta is there, this delta perturbation should, because of this diffusion property, it can diffuse in any direction, isn't it? It can diffuse in any direction, but it should diffuse only in the direction where the flow is flowing. So that is what we are saying. So we want this and we consider this perturbation delta in u. um, and you know and so for u greater than 0, um, at ith point delta is a perturbation and other points it is 0. This is the property of that perturbation we wish to keep. Okay, now at point m plus 1, if you write this equation at I, now m plus 1, it becomes m plus 1. So I become m plus 1. So at I mean p plus 1, sorry, at point p plus 1. So this become p plus 1 minus u p plus 1 and n plus 1 and n is there divided by delta t should be equals to negative a and u I plus 1 now become u I become p plus 1, so p plus 2. Okay. P plus 2 and minus p, sorry, u p plus 1 up. Okay, and this is twice delta x. So what do you see here is this is minus a up2. The property of this delta is at all other points it should be 0. So at p plus 2 it should be 0, and up at up it is a delta, so it should be a delta divided by twice delta x. So this should be equals to positive a delta divided by twice delta x. So this is fine. At p plus 1, you are getting a delta. You are getting a delta which is multiplied by a by 2 delta x. Okay. So it is moving. Delta is moving to this point up. U value at p plus 1. Okay. Is this. Okay. So that is fine. But what say at point P itself, at point P itself. So up n plus 1 minus up n divided by delta t. This is minus a, and up minus up plus 1 minus up plus 1, up minus 1, isn't it? Up plus 1 minus up minus 1 divided by twice delta x. So this, what do you see? Up plus 1, up minus 1. What is the delta property? That delta should be 0 at location other than p. So 0, 0 twice delta x, and this becomes 0. So at point you get a 0, and at other point you get so at this point you get a u delta 2 delta x, and at the other point you get a 0 value. Okay, here you get u delta twice delta x, here you get 0. What about the third point, this I minus 1? So at at point p minus 1, you have p minus 1 minus u p minus 1 n plus 1 n delta t minus a u p minus 1. So p minus 1 plus 1 u p, and u p minus 1, so u p minus 2, and this m or whatever is there. We are not bothering about that. And this will bring in negative, no? This will bring in negative a delta twice delta x. So what do you see in the in the in the point? You have u delta and twice delta x. So any perturbation here is propagating either in this direction, also in this direction. But our flow direction is this. So this is inconsistent. This is in not saying consistent. This is not showing a transportive property. It is transporting the perturbation u delta, this thing, in the m minus p minus 1 direction. So this is wrong. This is incorrect. This is wrong. Okay, this is wrong. This is wrong. This is wrong. This is okay. This is okay because my movement direction is from P to P plus 1. So at my P, if I am 0, then it should make change in delta in other P plus 1, but it should not make change in P minus 1. So it should not move from P minus 1 to P plus 1. But it can move from P to P plus 1, but it should not move from P to P minus 1. And that is what is happening from P to P minus 1. It is moving because my point under consideration is this. Okay. So this is lacking. Now, suppose instead of this central difference, suppose instead of this, if you use ui n plus 1 minus ui n and that backward difference, okay, delta t equals to minus of a u I minus ui minus 1 divided by delta x, then you see that at p plus 1, you will see that this expression gives you at p plus 1, your expression will be a u p plus 1 minus up divided by delta x. So this up plus 1 is 0 minus up, so u delta x. At P, you will get minus A UP minus UP minus 1 divided by delta x. So you will get minus U delta x. UP minus 1 is 0. At P minus 1, you will get minus A UP minus 1 and UP UP minus 1. Delta x, and that goes to 0. So here what we see is the if there is a disturbance here, it only propagates in this direction, p plus 1, rather than p minus 1, you do not have any transport. Yeah, this is p minus 2, isn't it? P minus 1, p minus 1, minus 1, p minus 1, p minus 1, p minus 2. Yeah, p minus 2. So you see that it is moving from 0 to it is 0 here, and then from negative to like this. Like this it is moving. Okay. So here there is no effect. So any perturbation at P, they are moving in the direction of flow. In the direction of flow. So this scheme is transportiveness property. Shows transportiveness. Okay. If you take this thing for other schemes, like forward difference and like that, then you will fail in case because this is positive and like that. Okay, so that is the second property. Then the third property is conservativeness. Okay, conservation should be there. Third property is conservative property. So say for example, if you have this equation, so what do you mean by this thing is conservativeness is that if FD finite difference method scheme or any scheme or numerical method scheme uh, satisfies conservation principles, conservation of mass, momentum, etc. in a discrete domain, then it is conservative. In the sense that if I have this del u by del t plus a del u by del x, this equation should be in an integral sense in a particular volume. Now, suppose I am discretizing this domain into say volumes and I'm focusing on this particular volume, then this is a volume, small volume dv, and I have this surface, control surface, this this is surface, this is a surface, so this is a surface S. Okay, then the integral, volume integral of this del u del t dv and volume integral of this a del u del x should be 0. Okay, in this sense, now this integral, volume integral, this dv should be there. This volume integral, we know that integral, volume integral, any volume integral having a property like this del of any phi, del dot phi, okay, dv, this is given as a surface integral phi dot n, or this is also, suppose this is a vector or this thing, this is any vector phi or this is vector, then dA or ds, this is ds, or you can write this as integral over the surface phi dot ds. S is now a vector like this. Now this expression, volume integral del u del t dv, becomes surface integral. Here this is a volume integral, surface integral phi, n ds. Phi n ds is equals to 0. Now what do you see here? This is a rate. If this is volume is not changing, then you can write like this u dv. So this u dv is a whatever u is there in this volume, averaged volume, averaged velocity, or that, like that, u, plus this is a surface phi n ds, whatever happening at this surface, that is there. So this represent the flux entering and leaving, net flux through these surfaces. So here in this sense, this particular thing should be equals to this particular thing, delta S phi n ds. If this is the thing happening, so in this sense, we want a finite difference expression to be satisfying conservativeness. Okay, conservativeness. So suppose you consider any scheme. So say I am talking about this del u by del t again and again. So if I am taking I and now I am taking this particular expression u uh, del u del x like this, and I'm calculating this at I is equals to 0. This expression if I write, then I can write ui minus ui n plus 1 n delta t, right? And this thing u is calculated at ui, and del u del x at I, del u del x at I can now write this del u del x at I can now write it as a backward difference expression ui minus ui minus 1 because ui is a positive value we have considered, and this can be nth and this delta x is equals to 0. Okay. Now, what do you see here is suppose this is a multiplication. This is a multiplication. So this term, second term will be ui. Okay. Both are calculated at n minus ui minus 1 n but delta x, but this you see if you take a domain here, then this ui is here. Suppose this is your I, so ui is here, and this ui minus 1 is coming from this I minus 1. Okay, ui they are there, but ui is the flux at I only. Okay, but we want this ui to be coming from I minus 1. Ui is this the flow velocity. This is a flow velocity. Flow velocity. So it is like a transportiveness. Similar to conservativeness, it should be transportiveness also. So the transport should come from I minus 1. Transport should come from I minus 1 to I. Okay, not from I to I for this I minus 1. So here because of this we do not see conservativeness. So this particular formulation itself is called as non-conservative form. Non-conservative. Okay. However, other form, suppose del u del t plus del uu del x is equals to 0. And now if I discretize this u n plus 1 n delta t plus now same ui minus ui minus 1 ui minus 1 and all these are n divided by delta x. So now you see that ui and ui for the I, ui is the flux. For ui, that ui minus information is coming from u minus 1. So now this is a conservative. It shows a conservative property. In other words, suppose you take a summation of this. If this is a sum, this if you write from say I1 to I2, now these are the domains, and this is suppose I1 and this is I2, for where you have 1, 2, 3, 4 like domains, and suppose you sum from this thing, and if you write all this expression ui minus ui n plus 1 and n, and you can take delta t and delta x outside delta t you can take common, and you can write this multiplication delta x you can bring delta x that side, and you can write minus of this ui n minus. So minus minus will become plus. So this plus ui minus 1 n divided by, not divided by. So if you see ui minus 1 minus ui, these are not cancelling. If you sum machine sign is there, I is one running from I1 to I2. So if you sum this sum is not equals to 0. This sum is not equals to 0. So what do you see, that whatever is coming, that is not going. So there is no conservation. If this is 5, this should be negative 5. Okay, so that then on this should be 5, means minus 5. 5 minus 5 should be 0. So it shows the transportiveness. It should conserve. If anything is there, if this particular thing is 5, then this right hand side should show 5. So left hand side is not is equals to right hand side. Rather than saying is equals to 0, left hand side not equals to. But however, in this case, if you put the same method here, 1 over delta t, and you write this thing, then you get a summation ui uh, minus 1 ui minus 1 minus ui, okay, which is nothing but you can write u at I minus 1, capital I1 minus 1, u I minus 1, and you have u I2, u I2. Okay, so this value minus I1, or you can say this is showing transportive, because ui minus 1, it is coming like this, and maybe it is going like this. So this transportive property. So this left hand side will become right hand side here. Okay. So this is a conservativeness property. Transportiveness is also a conservativeness. Okay. So tomorrow we'll see a next property, which is very important. And then we'll talk about another property, which is called as convergence. Next will be a stability, and then we'll see convergence. Okay. Thank you.